Hey guys, Janice here. So, as promised on my Reddit channel, today I would like to unveil my latest project. To do a bit of review. So, many of you may be familiar with my video concerning the overdraw. It was an oversized Angio-Wheel that I was using to try and max out my potential, sort of search the farther reaches of my research. Well, not exactly practical. Pretty cool device overall, but unless you're really big, not terribly practical, not something that can really be used by the average Joe. And a lot of men actually reached out to me and said they'd be really interested in purchasing an overdraw, but size was the main limitation. Many of the men reaching out to me were well below the overall size they needed to be to effectively use the device. As a hard cutoff for using the overdraw concept, a guy has to be at least 8 inches bone pressed, and I mean that is the absolute floor. Any lower than that, give it up. It's not happening. So given that, and the number of men that reached out to me and said they really wanted something that they could use to explore the upper reaches with me, and they didn't need to necessarily be very large at the start. So keeping that in mind, I came up with a solution. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the first true motorized Angio-Wheel concept. Now, I had the one I released a while back, which used a fairly slow rotating motor. Not terribly practical, really couldn't reach the top speeds that I was hoping for, so I came up with a solution. Allow me to introduce you to Overdraw 2.0. Okay. Now, unlike standard Angio-Wheels, I've made this one with 2 layers of plywood, about, let's see, 10 layers here, that I have bolted together, as you can see, along this outside, and I've also added a handle right here, and I'm sure you're wondering why, what's up with the handle. So let's do a demonstration. Okay, so before I turn this on, I'm actually going to bring it a little bit closer to the camera. There is a switch right here, okay? It is a dial that you can turn up or down to limit the top range of a drill. I have this drill set at its absolute lowest setting. Now, this is a 6 amp impact drill with a 1/2 inch chuck. You have to use a 1/2 inch chuck with this device because the rod of which everything is mounted to is 1/2 inch. Here we go. So just going to put it up against my chest, slowly turn it up. Oh, let me turn directions here. Now, because this is a variable speed drill, by changing how hard I depress this button right here, I can actually change how fast the Angio-Wheel rotates. So variable speed, amazing function, definitely needed. Now, the other thing is like I said, I've definitely limited the top range of this drill. If I tried to smash this button when it was at, full draw, to where there was no limitations on the power, this would actually be pretty dangerous. I mean, you might actually break an arm or worse. So it definitely has to be turned down. But now, given that, with this turned down, what does that look like top speed wise? So here we go. It's pretty cool. I gotta admit, I'm definitely in love with this. Been using it now for about 2 months. Came up with this little design. What are the main benefits, say, of a motorized Angio-Wheel like so, above the, ooh man, it's hot in here, above a standard Angio-Wheel? What's one of the benefits? Number one benefit, if you're doing very long sessions like myself, 20 to 30 minutes of rotating an Angio-Wheel, that can get pretty tiring. okay? Especially if you're doing it at higher rotation. You know, I'd say about right there, okay? Doing that for 20 or 30 minutes, that's really hot in here, for prolonged periods of time, it is a workout in of itself. So for me, I created this out of necessity. I was starting to become actually pretty tired doing 20, 30 minutes of essentially arm cardio without any real added benefits. So this was a needed step, needed next level for me. Other really big, definitely huge advantage of a motorized Angio-Wheel is, like I said, you can vary the speed. Now when this is under load, you get a lot more variation. So right now I'm going at the absolute slowest it can. I'm going to step it up a little bit. You can actually hear it when I step it up, right? Variable speed. Motorized Angio-Wheel with impact drill, variable speed, obviously. It is a lot of fun. You can actively change up the pace of your workout. So let's say, you want to start out kind of slow, or as slow as this will allow you to go. You can do that, and then by just depressing the handle just a little bit more, you can get up to speed, start getting a good workout in, get 5-10 minutes of high intensity shear stress through the corporal bodies, through the vascular of the corporal bodies. Great stuff. The only limitation, I would say, to the motorized concept is you already have to have a pretty good level of development in place, because there's a limit to how slow you can actually turn that drill, at least the model that I've chosen. Maybe a more high-powered drill, you might be able to rotate it at a slower speed, but this drill right here, it's a Hyper Tough. Got this from Walmart for about $32. Extremely impressed. Definitely can't complain. Absolutely in love with it. And the best part is, on top of being variable speed, I can even sit there and I can change direction. So I can go this way, I can go that way. Not really a problem. All great kinds of features. The other, I would say, both drawback and benefit, on top of you really need to have a lot of vascular development in place, is that because it rotates up so intensely, you actually have to kind of condition the skin of your penis. One of the first things that I noticed when attempting to use this higher rotation device is that I kind of chafed my corpus spongiosum just a little bit. Not too bad, but it did sting, took a few days to heal, and I am happy to report, after about 3 weeks, almost a month of regular training, I no longer get any kind of chafing, and on top of that, I haven't noticed a loss in sensitivity. Now that would be probably one of the first questions guys would ask, since your corpus spongiosum has toughened up, especially the skin, have you noted reduced sensitivity? The coolest part is absolutely not. In fact, I would almost say my sensitivity has taken a pretty sharp bump up. And that's most likely due to growth factor release that this device allows for. As we know, shear stress causes an increase in vascular endothelial growth factor, BFGF, all of the things that not only are responsible for vascular growth, but also nerve growth. So with this increased level of stimulation, one second, really hot here, I've definitely noticed an increase in sensitivity. So any concerns with that, let me just put that to bed. So that is my updates for new research avenues, besides things I'm currently doing with the mechanized percussion therapy device, which would be this guy right here. I'll talk about this really quickly. So on Amazon, you can actually buy conversion kits for jigsaws. This one right here comes with a nice few pieces you can attach, a specialized bar that's a bit thicker than your average bits for increased safety, increased durability. Really liking it. Really does a good number on the corporal cavernosal bodies. Good stuff. Have a lot of fun with this. I will be making a post in my Reddit about this, about the conversion kits. Some of the best ones I found. This conversion kit right here, I believe set me back $17. And I ordered something else, ordered some supplements, which I will be talking about here soon too, doing some experiments with those. But, you know, total bill was around $50, so I got free shipping and handling. So definitely worth it to buy a conversion kit for your Jigsaw. But besides that, what are some other updates? What are some other things that I'm doing? Well, besides Motorized Angio-Wheel, which is a lot of fun to use, and updates with the mechanized percussion therapy and the conversion kit, I have, since the start of this year, seen a sharp increase in the number of health professionals around male sexual health that have begun reaching out to me. I'm talking clinicians, physicians, doctors, you know, personal trainers, anybody in that field that wants to know more. They've really been kind of hounding me for more information, and in more cases than not, there's money involved. They want to try and give me money, try and pay me to explore certain avenues of research. And for a pretty long time, I was like, no, I really don't want the money. I'm doing my work myself. But they essentially kept insisting, we really want to see this done, this done, this done. We'll pay you this much, for this much results. And I finally reached a point to where I just got sick and tired of turning them away. So what I've decided to do is start a Patreon page where I will be releasing a newsletter. Every 2 months, I will be releasing about a 7 to 10 page full-length article where I go in depth on the topics you love, centering them out around male sexual health, supplementation, various chemicals, different pieces of research, basically stuff that nerds like me and you really, really love. And if you want to get in on that, you can sign up through my Patreon for $4.99 a month, very, very low cost in comparison to the amazing stuff I will be sharing. And for a lot of the health professionals out there that have been, insistently hounding me, this is also to placate you guys. I have quite a few of the topics that you have in mind that you want to see explored, and those would be some of the first ones that I dive in. Just a heads up, I don't yet have the Patreon set up. I will be releasing it come about June 1st, June 2nd, still figuring out all the electronic information with that. But the second I have that up, I will be making a video on it, on this account on YouTube, and also on my Reddit account, our Angio method, so that way you guys can get in on that. But something I had to tell you ahead of time is that I will be limiting the number of subscribers, the number of patrons, to 100. Okay, so if, like I said, you're a nerd like me, if you're a health professional, you want to get in on more of my research, you want to see the topic of male sexual health explored, much more in depth, sign up. But just to keep in mind, don't wait for too long because these spaces are going to go quickly. Lots of updates. Lots and lots of updates. Other updates. So some of you may be aware that I will be releasing a book very, very soon. Hopefully by the end of June. I was hoping for the end of May, but writer's block is a bitch. For the writers out there, people that do vlogging, etc., you know how that goes. Sometimes you just hit a doldrum. It happens. Lots of stuff been going on. Point of fact, recently on Reddit, I noticed that my cake day came up, my account's birthday through Reddit, and I had a lot of guys reach out and thank me for my work, congratulate me on my cake day for my account, and it was extremely touching. Really enjoyed that. And what I've decided to do as a way to give back is I'm offering free domestic shipping on all Angio-Wheel sales, and I've got that sale running from May 30th to about June 5th. Yeah, June 5th, not 6th, June 5th. And I will be including the offer code, the link that you can click to automatically apply free shipping in the description to this video. So if you're somebody that's been kind of sitting on the fence, you've already worked through all the Angio methods, you've gone through 2.0, maybe starting to bump on 3.0, and you really, really want to know what is it going to be like to have and use an Angio-Wheel, and you really just want to get your hands on one, now is the perfect time. So like I've said in past videos, I understand that I'm mostly tempting the more far-flung of my subscribers, from like Maine and California, different parts of Texas, the original 13 colony states, they all tend to have pretty high shipping. I know that I'm going to be losing a lot out there, but same time, I know that a lot of guys really, really want to try and use the Angio-Wheel. They're very excited about it, so if you want to get your hands on one, right now is a good window to do that. And that's pretty much it for my updates, which that was a lot of updates, a lot of cool stuff. Something I will be exploring here pretty soon on my channel will be some interesting information I've recently learned concerning blood vessels. Now, really hot in here, like I said, one of the interesting things when, say, a baby is being born, when it's being formed in a mother's womb, is that one of the very first things that gets formed before the arterial system forms is the venous system. Now, what essentially happens is valves will form, and as I've talked about before, whenever a valve is formed, it will keep flow going in one direction. It will open up, spurt blood one side, but not allow it back the other. And so what that does is it causes flow locking, to where blood will naturally stay behind that valve in the channel, and whenever blood is pushed from, further out arterial channels into the channels near this vein, near this valve, blood will get sucked into the area where flow locking has occurred, and you end up with just a whole host of really interesting hemodynamics. So we'll be exploring that here soon in depth. I hope you guys look forward to that. And that's it for all of my updates. So as always, guys, thanks for tuning in. Janice out.